Action! Activate!
Action Activate. We are back to the vanilla version. Just me, Gazbot, better known here as the Gazbot Knight, and of course with me as always,
the Big Dawg Defender.
That's right. It's me and the Bigdawg, and we are keeping it totally Ranger real today. No guests. We don't have a new episode of Beast Morphers, unfortunately, but we are going to do a episode review. Or actually, how many is it? 3?
3 total.
3 total, yeah. So if you are new to the show, normally we review the current Beast Morphers episode and talk and do other things. Recently, we've had some interviews, including last week we had Steve Andrino, who played Baboo in Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, which brings me to my next point. I am an artist, and one of the things I do is Power Rangers art, and if you look up here in 1 second, once I find the button to turn it on, I have a... Yes, thank you. Here it is. This is a video of me doing art of Baboo. Now, a while back, after I did Ranger Stop, sorry, not Ranger Stop, Power Morphicon Express, I'd met Steve for the first time, and I did a sketch on the plane, which is basically the first couple minutes of this, but I then spent more time cleaning it up and turning it into a printable, usable piece of artwork, and that's what's going on now. So it'll be going for the next hour or so. Hey, Danny F9, thanks for showing up. Thanks for showing the love. So yeah, so my art up here is of Baboo, but specifically Steve Andrino Baboo. He gave me some reference, so it's literally him in the suit. And that video is up on YouTube. All our videos go up on YouTube. So if you haven't seen that, it's a really great interview. Check it out. It's on my Gazbot YouTube channel. But for today, what we're going to be doing is, well, actually, do you want to tell him, Bigdawg?
I will. So instead of, going with the current season, we thought, why don't we go back to the original Power Rangers and talk about one of the arcs that some people may know about, other people may not, and some people may try to forget. And what that is the beginning of Mighty Morphin Power Rangers Season 3, the arc called A Friend in Need. Now, Gazbot and I, the other day, were talking about some possible show topics, and we really miss reviewing episodes because Beast Morphers has been off for the last couple of weeks. So for us, it was something to do that was obviously on brand, but a little bit different, where it's the Power Rangers teaming up with somebody that isn't a Power Rangers character or property. So for this one, it is the crossover / backdoor pilot with Masked Rider. For those of you who know about that, I'm going to pass it to Gazbot to give his brief Masked Rider history.
Oh, okay. Now, when you say my brief Masked Rider history, my history of what I know of Masked Rider, or, like as a fan, or the little bit of homework I did recently?
The first one, and then the second, if you so wish.
All right. Well, I'll give myself a one shot here. By the way, in chat, hello to Dolly Girl. Hello to the real Baboo. Yeah, I don't know how we're going to top last week's show. I don't think it's going to be possible.
It's difficult, but valiant effort is the easiest way I can put it.
Valiant effort. We'll slog through it. So Masked Rider in the U.S., known as Kamen Rider in Japan. When it was out in the 90s, it was around the 3rd season of Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, and Kamen Rider, Masked Rider was out, which is an adaptation of Black RX, I believe, was the season in Japan. Mm-hmm. And I was aware of it. I didn't really watch it. I remember thinking the suit looked cool, and I remember thinking, oh, this is kind of like VR Troopers and Beetleborgs. They're just throwing everything out there. I didn't realize at the time, because in Japan, Kamen Rider is as big or arguably bigger than Super Sentai. But at the time, to me, it was just another lesser show based off of the Power Rangers, popularity. And I didn't really watch it much. And the little teeny bits I saw looked kind of like goofier to me. And I mean, Power Rangers is kind of goofy, but it looked even goofier. That's kind of all I knew when I was younger. As I got older, I learned that it's, like I said, based on Kamen Rider, and it's actually a huge property. And just like Power Rangers went a million seasons, I had still never watched it, though. And I have seen this 3-parter, although I did rewatch it again for the review. And I went back to try to find episode 1 of Masked Rider to kind of get a feel for the character outside of Power Rangers. And I couldn't find it. It's not on Hulu. It's not on Netflix. It's not on any of the normal streaming services. I went on YouTube. I don't normally like to do that. I like to watch their official channels, but I'm like, well, I got to see something, and I couldn't find it. What I found was the opening theme, the first 5 minutes, the first fight scene, the first so I spent about 45 minutes watching clips of various things to give myself a rough idea of what this was like. And I will say I still like the suit, but it is pretty cheesy, and that's saying something considering the stuff we normally cover. Everybody talks about what is it, Furbus, which is the little Muppety Furby-looking guy, and he is kind of stupid. But even without that, Dex, like the way he acts and the family and stuff, I've heard it referred to as sort of a sitcom, and I think that's accurate. It feels like a sitcom that has action scenes as opposed to an action show. And that's very strange. And so my instincts, I think, were right to not get into it when I was younger. But that's pretty much everything I know, except for I did pick up one piece of trivia that won't come up in the 3-part episode we're watching, but is related to Power Rangers. In Masked Rider, he does get a car and a motorcycle, and then they're sentient, which I didn't know. I don't know if they were sentient in the Sentai footage, but they certainly were in this. And the chopper, I think it's called Combat Chopper, is voiced by none other than Jason Narvi.
Oh wow!
Yeah,
that's awesome.
So that was like the one fun little part where he's like, "Come on, get over here! I'm a motorcycle," and it's ridiculous. And he kind of sounds like Jack, and we all kind of sound the same when I do my voice. But
he sounds like Jack. Jack sounds like you, and then it's just the chain of events.
But so that was like the fun little nugget I found in there with the motorcycle voice. But that's pretty much everything I know, other than what's in these 3 episodes. Do you have a different take you want to share before we get into it?
The one thing I will say that's kind of a silver lining for those, whether you loved or hated the Toku adapted series, VR Troopers, Big Bad Beetleborgs, Masked Rider, Power Rangers, obviously we all love that. The
Super
one thing
Samurai,
I will say,
Cyber Squad.
Ooh, thank you. Superhuman Samurai Cyber Squad. I actually forgot about. All of those you can get in-scale figures through SH Figure Arts. They are not cheap by any means, but if you wanted one figure from each series, it's technically possible to do, and that is a soft goal of mine where I have Kamen Rider already, Black RX. I have Mighty Morphin Power Rangers figures, and now I need Beetleborgs and VR Troopers are the tough ones. I have a Gridman as well, which was Superhuman Samurai. But yeah, 3 out of 5, almost there.
Not bad. I'm just adjusting my camera as we're talking. When we were doing the interviews, I had to use a different software program, and I didn't realize I would have to make adjustments afterwards. So I apologize if you see windows flying around.
We're just gonna see your head go like this the whole time.
I'll be like you basically.
Yeah. Guys, no, I'm just kidding.
All right, I'm not gonna mess with it too much more. But okay.
So, do you think it's time to jump in?
I do think it's time to jump in.
Let's do it. So,
all right.
Setting the stage.
Yes.
We're on a desolate alien planet known as Edenoi.
Here it is. It kind of looks like a dried out pit of an apricot, but it is a planet named Edenoi. He's right.
Plot twist. It's actually the pit from James and the Giant Peach.
Wait, hold on real quick. Real Baboo just put up a link that you can watch at a site. Watch cartoons online. So hopefully that is a legal site. If not, we'll pretend we didn't see it. And Locker Gaming, I love Power Rangers. Well, awesome. Thanks for joining us. We talk about Power Rangers quite a bit. Up here we got Power Rangers art, and we're talking about the crossover with Masked Rider. So please continue, Big Dog.
So we're on Edenoi. The reason this is relevant is Alpha 5 is actually from Edenoi. That's how these are kind of tied in. And we see people in kind of sort of spacey hazmat suits with gas masks mining. We're not sure what they're mining yet. Turns out they're mining poisonous gas.
Wait, why would they mine poisonous gas?
For bad guys. It's initially when we find out about this, I'm kind of scratching my head like, okay, I guess they're mining poisonous gas. And then one of the villains actually makes a note about it. He's like, they don't know that they're killing their planet with this poisonous gas that they're mining. It's like, all right, great start, guys. Glad there's 3 episodes that we get of this. So we kind of get a small stage setting of people doing this. We close up on one of the people who we have no idea who it is because he's wearing a gas mask. But Are we? I don't remember. Did they reveal if it's Dax right from the beginning?
No, and I'm doing a slideshow as you're talking because I had it ready. That you assume that they're a good character or at least an oppressed character, but you don't even see them take off the face mask. The next shot you see one of the Plague Patrol, I believe they're called. That we don't know that yet, but they're clearly like the overseers of this like sort of slave thing going on.
Mhm.
And I don't think we see it's Dex. Wait, is it Dax or Dex? I thought it was Dex.
Dax.
Dax. Okay.
I'm pretty sure it's Dax. If it is Dex, someone let me know. But
Okay.
either way, spoiler alert, they're a little forgettable.
Right. Well, we don't get to see them yet, and we basically see this setup. You're right, and then we cut back to the command center. And yeah, Dolly Girl. Well, hey, when you have a name like Plague Patrol, you're probably not going to be that friendly.
Yeah. A general in the Plague Patrol usually has some certain criteria they have to meet to get promoted.
Right. Usually, they have to have chicken pox several times and poison ivy all over their face.
That's why they're all armored up. It's like, I already survived one plague. I can't survive another.
Yeah.
It's like a giant iron lung that they're walking in.
They're not healthy people. They are not. You do not want to accept any food from them.
Or just don't let them sneeze around you. And just overall avoid at all costs.
Agreed.
But Zordon and Alpha discuss a little bit. Zordon says the Alpha is acting a little off. Alpha brings up that Edenoi has trouble. Zordon kind of goes, well, I hope that they, kind of work it out.
But they're very far from here, he says. It's like, but I remember also because he's sort of, come on, Alpha, it's always better to talk. We could do something. What is it? What is it? What is it? And then Alpha's like, I'm worried about my friends. He's like, oh, they're far away. It's
Your home planet, man, ages, light years.
I thought you wanted, like, new batteries or something. Come on. That's a big ask, buddy.
The one thing I will say about this arc is it feels very different than what we're used to, because normally it's, there's this problem, we're going to tackle it with friendship no matter what. Right. And this one's like, I guess we'll try some. I don't know how much effort we're going to it's a lot of just shrugging and hands up, I feel, throughout the entire
It gets
thing.
there. It does get there, but you're right that it takes a little while. It feels like this could have been a 2-part episode that they stretched to a 3-part episode.
It should have been a 2-part episode.
Yeah. That being said, I wasn't bored ever. It held my attention better than it should have for how much they stretched it out.
I was definitely bored for part of it.
Okay.
But I did like some of the things that we'll touch on later as positives. It wasn't all bad, but there are things that I kind of just shake my head at, unfortunately, or don't make a whole lot of sense.
Well, one thing they do a lot in this that they do a little bit in Power Rangers, but it felt more like a Star Wars movie or something. They cut back and forth between so many different locations and scenes throughout the whole thing. For example, we started on this planet, then we cut to the command center, then we cut to this enemy ship where we see the new bad guy who's the Masked Rider villain, and what's his name again? I wrote it down. It's Count Dragon, I think, is how you say it.
Which is funny because now we're Draken.
Yeah, it's like a little bit.
I was like, okay.
Looks like Will Smith, Dolly Girl says.
He actually kind of does.
I guess if Will Smith he's sort of like if Will Smith was Destro from G.I. Joe.
Yeah, I think because of the way the mouthpiece is, it's an unintentional
goatee,
handlebar mustache.
Yeah, that's what I meant. Locker Gaming hoping to get another movie. Yeah, me too. We've talked about that. Hope is not dead. Hasbro might be cooking something up, so hope springs eternal on that one.
Yeah. So we find out as we're going through that that's the big bad of Masked Rider. We have to care because it's a crossover.
Right.
And the giant question is, oh man, if they're, definitely trying to take on Earth, then we hopefully will see them after this 3-parter.
Right. Well, spoilers, but no. But also we introduce the villains, and then immediately, like I said, we cut back to now we're at the juice bar. Yeah. And we say Aisha on the phone, and it's like we're like 5 minutes in and we've had 4 locations. And I'm not complaining. This is part of why I don't get bored, because they do really keep moving around, especially for this was back in the 90s.
Yeah.
I'm surprised they felt they could keep people's attention that long.
Well, it's funny because touching upon last week's interview, when we saw some of the call sheets with all these different locations, I can only imagine how stretched thin the crew was of all right, we have the command center, we have the juice bar, we have the desert planet, we have this, so I can
Uh,
That in itself was pretty cool.
I'm gonna ignore Dolly Girl's comment and Locker Gaming. Are you watching the new? She's referencing an old joke that Bigdawg enjoys more than I do. Locker Gaming, are you watching the new season? We are, and actually, usually on Mondays we're reviewing the episode from the weekend previous. So if you look at the old videos or if you go to the Gazbot YouTube channel, we have reviews of every episode of Beast Morphers so far. And when it comes back, we'll be doing the new episodes as well. We're doing this because it's an off season right now. Now this I thought was odd, and I wanted to look up the behind the scenes, and I didn't get a chance. Kimberly is sick, and this isn't part of a continuing storyline where like some monster, but she's just regular old sick, and like okay, well that's something, and it comes into play because she kind of misses most of the action. And it seemed like a really weird choice, and normally you could chalk that up to Sentai footage, but most of this footage was created in America because we have the Kamen Rider suit being used as Masked Rider, with the Die Ranger suit being used as the White Ranger, with like so it's like most of this storyline is American footage. So they chose to put the Pink Ranger out of action for some reason, and I don't know why.
So I think with the way the story progresses, if there was a Ranger to be left behind, it had to be one that was established enough or had a strong enough presence on their own from the audience caring about them just as a solo, where if you put other Rangers in their place, it may not work. And also because Tommy is now the leader, he's out from that.
I don't.
Rocky-
Okay, let me stop you though. Yes, you need to have a strong Ranger left if there wasn't left behind. Why did one have to be left behind? That's the question.
Oh, so this is a theory. So do you remember the 90s movie Susie Q?
No.
Okay.
Was she in that?
She was. She starred as Susie Q. So I don't know the dates, and if somebody knows, feel free to tell me I'm 100% wrong. But I could see her either having to film differently because of that, or I know she was on the show Felicity in the 90s, which I don't remember the exact dates.
So you think it was shooting schedule? That makes sense. I had a feeling there was a behind the scenes thing, but I didn't have a chance to look it up. But that makes sense because otherwise, why not just have her with the team? And they had the story of where one Ranger had to be there, but that didn't have to be that way. So. Yeah. Okay, cool.
I love that movie too, Dolly Girl. That was one I used to watch a lot when I was younger.
I don't know if I ever even heard of it. I know the song Susie Q, but I didn't know there was.
She was a ghost.
Oh wow.
Who died in the 50s, I believe, and like haunted this guy in high school. And it was a good little back and forth, and it's worth watching. It's not a great movie by any means. It probably ages okay, but I really enjoyed it when I was younger.
And at this point, for people watching this show, it's probably most notable because Amy Jo is in it.
Mm-hmm.
Gotcha.
And that's why I was like, oh, Kimberly's in it. And I'm just like, not knowing that she is a real name.
Right. Right. Well, that's how, I still do that sometimes. Like, look, it's Doctor Who before I know what the actor's name is or whatever. I took this extra screenshot here because this phone is glorious. And, we're at the age now where most of us don't have landlines. We're all, mobile. But I would want this if I had a landline still. It's clear. It lights up. It makes no sense. I love it.
It would be great if it was one of those items that was like a start of like a prop auction that no one cares about but like you.
Yes.
It's like starting bid $25. You're like, I'll give you 50.
Yeah. Take it. Take my money. I am Fry. All right, so then we're in the juice bar, and then we cut back to something that we saw at the beginning of Beast Morphers, but you don't see as much in all the seasons, where it's just, hey, we're just hanging out doing martial arts in each other. We're just practicing, we're just sparring, and so we see these guys doing that in the background. And then we pull in and similar. There's a lot of classic vibes came back here all at once because they're doing the martial arts and they're at the juice bar, and then Adam's doing his homework because he's a good student. It's all like, remember, they're good at everything and they're really good people. Like you get that still, but like those first couple seasons were really all about hammering home they're the best people and they're good at everything. And and then Billy comes in and what's Billy saying? Like, hey, I don't wear glasses anymore. Yeah. Oh, yeah. And this is actually post-movie, so Billy no longer wears glasses. Mm-hmm. And I saw an interview with David Yost a while back where he talked about how he didn't need glasses. The character Billy did, but the actor didn't. And he did one of the movies, I'm assuming the first one, and because he wasn't in Turbo, so yeah, it had to be the first one. And then he basically, somehow in the movie, there was a point where like, oh, do you need glasses? Or he didn't need glasses. And he just decided, oh, I don't need glasses without getting permission. And then when he came back, he's like, oh, yeah, I don't need. So like the reason Billy stopped wearing glasses is because David Yost didn't want to keep wearing glasses. And I'm like,
Contact lenses, yeah.
yeah, good for him. There's no reason he has to, whatever. But
it's easily written off, which is good. It's like, oh, you don't have glasses. It's like, yeah, I use contacts. And
Yeah.
we're fighting.
Right, exactly. It was much harder to explain where the overalls went. That was a whole thing.
Oh, man. The denim.
The denim.
The denim of the 90s. So he says,
sorry.
oh, Alpha's really mopey. Let's
Right.
figure out what the deal is. And then once again, cutting to Lord Dragon's weird, like,
I love this ship.
I don't even know what to describe that.
It's like
Like
insect bird head with an insect body. I don't think I have a
it
shot of the
reminds
rest of
me
it here, but
the
Skylinks.
the head and neck. No, the head and neck remind me of Lapras, the Pokemon.
I can see that. Yeah. But I mean that's the same as like any like an ostrich or a Elasmosaurus, like the actual dinosaur, or Skylinks the Transformer. Anything that has like a long neck with like a beaky thing. But I think the rest of it is very like insectoid, like millipede. It's like
Yeah, the legs of just like
Yeah. Yeah. I think
how we both
yeah. Let's see, Real Baboo. Suzy Q was shown in 1996. It's possible there was a scheduling conflict, but these episodes were filmed around April of 1995. Okay. So, yeah, I don't know. I mean, we may never know unless we get Amy Jo on the show, which, I'm not going to hold my breath on that one.
Defaulting to me being right, if that's
Okay,
cool with you.
sure, fine. Yeah, I mean, you're so rarely right. We might as well give you this one. Moving on. Here's a better shot. We get a better shot later on, but you can kind of see the full thing. I really liked these shots of like kind of the ghostly ship firing on the planet. I just thought it was like. I think they did a really good job of making Edenoi look like an alien planet and have a different color and have mist, and then often they're on another planet and it's just Earth. This really felt like not only another planet, but another planet that was decimated by war, and like it felt like that. They did a really good job with that, I thought.
The problem I had with the ship is a problem that Dragon Ball has a lot, where it'll do a very monumental feat, and then later on you can't explain why that feat isn't used again.
Okay.
And for this, the beams of it, I think at one point destroy like a planet or a moon or something, and then it shoots at the planet and just does little explosions, and you're like,
wait, this ship in this three-parter we see destroy a planet with its beam? I don't
I
remember seeing
believe
that.
so.
We'll keep going, but I don't remember seeing that.
When they're in space, I believe they do it like in passing.
Okay, you might be right, and I just don't remember. I thought they were always just using it as like a surface bombardment sort of attack.
No,
but you're
that was
right.
the thing.
If they could destroy whole planets, that is odd that they couldn't. Even if they want the mining and the gas, once they have all the Power Rangers and Mast Rider all together, yeah, wouldn't a bad guy just be like, just get them all out? We'll find it. Yeah. But then once again, we're here for just a minute, and then we cut back to Earth, or actually, to be more precise, the Moon. And we see Rita and Zed's palace. Oh, thank you very much for the host. I appreciate that, Locker Gaming.
Oh, thank you.
And we see Zed using his, I don't know if there's a word for that, like the Zedovision, the beam, the what do you call it? The Cyclops beam.
Telescopic.
I don't know why I don't know why I need to do this. Like, you don't know what I'm talking about. The telescopic vision.
Let's just finish the episode like this.
Yeah.
So he's zooming in, kind of seeing what's going on. We find out he has a rivalry with
Count Dragon.
Dragon.
Yeah, I keep wanting to say Dracon as well. Yeah.
Same.
Yeah.
Oh my god. So he has a rivalry. Rhea kind of pumps him up a little bit, and then we cut back again to another location that I don't remember.
Command center.
Thank you. We kind of find out what's going on. Zordon says, "Hey, I don't really think you guys should go, because if you go, it's really far away and your powers might not work right. But I mean, if you really want to go, you can go, since it's South Planet and all. You guys probably shouldn't go."
I will say real quick. Oh, in chat, Locker Gaming. Can I put this out there? Billy should have been the Gold Ranger. Lots of people agree with you. I don't disagree. I like Billy. I think he should have stayed a Ranger. But they did have an in-universe explanation where, because he was affected differently by when they were kids and he became an adult again, he couldn't take the power, because they tried to give it to him, if you remember. Now, would it have been cool if he got it? Yeah. But I do appreciate that the other Rangers like, Billy, obviously you, and it didn't work. So what I think is he should have been the Phantom Ranger.
I was actually going to say the same thing. If they didn't say that he was directly related to Zordon, I think that would have been a cool
Did they ever officially say that he was related to Zordon? I thought that was a fan theory. Well, putting that aside, and we're getting a little off track, but whatever. It's an off week. yeah, they tried to give him the Zeo powers. He couldn't get them. That's unfortunate. But and the actor left the show around this time too, so it who knows where it would have went. But I like the idea of the Phantom Ranger. We don't really know much about him. Like he was always a mysterious character, so he could have been Billy, and he seemed to know what was it, Kimberly or was it Kat at that point? Now I'm forgetting.
Cassie is the one who he had
Cassie.
a relationship with.
Okay, so he had that sort of thing going, and for all we know, the Phantom Ranger was a suit he constructed himself. And maybe it had some morphing energy that he tapped into, but he wasn't a Power Ranger. And it's like, oh, if there's anyone that could build an awesome super suit, it would be Billy. So I like the idea that he, like, that's my canon. That we never find this out, but that Billy was the Phantom Ranger all along.
Mm-hmm. One thing you actually made me think of is as they're expanding on either completely new ideas or unused or unresolved plot threads in the comics, that would be really cool, is if they did something with the Phantom Ranger and expanded on it in some way, shape, or form.
Absolutely. Okay, so but getting back to the episode we're actually talking about, back at the command center, and Zordon's like, you're gonna go, okay, fine, I'll send you. And then something worth pointing out here, and he is wearing the karate outfit, but this is an earlier season for Rocky, and I feel like in the beginning they were really trying to make him Jason. Like after a while they gave up, but like the haircut, and he's just like there's like an upshot, and he's like even talking kind of, like I feel like they're like, we're gonna dress you like Jason, kind of pretend to be Jason, and then after a little while they let him be his own character, which is good because it was weird seeing him kind of be fake Jason for a while.
Yeah, the funniest part for me is when they tried to make him the leader over Tommy, and then it clearly just didn't work.
No, that made no sense. He was the new guy. Nothing against him, but you don't make the new guy in charge.
Yeah.
And then
it was one of those things he'd always say something like, come on, guys, let's do this. And they're like, yeah, okay. Like, we're going to do it anyway, but thanks for telling us. Morphin sequence. It's funny, when I watched this the first time, in my head I was going like down the line from white, black, pink onward, and then when it skipped pterodactyl, I like took a step. I was like,
she's sick, remember? I thought this was interesting. They morph up, and I thought they teleported to Edenoi, and I was even thought like that doesn't look like Edenoi, like, but they didn't. They morphed up and immediately were teleported outside the command center for some reason, which is weird because we've seen them morph in the command center, so it's not like they can't be morphed in the command center. But then they actually teleport to Edenoi here. And I love this graphic of like stock space footage, and somebody just smeared color at, like, look, they're teleporting.
Oh, yeah. They did that in the first season a lot, I know.
Yeah, I agree, but it like by third season things had gotten a little better. So seeing that, I was like, oh yeah, that's But
I think.
Yeah, go ahead.
Go for it.
No, I was saying, but my main point was, why did they have to teleport outside of the command center before teleporting? And I'm sure it was just a production thing, but like story-wise, it makes
The other thing too is I think in terms of like cutting corners on certain stuff, because this uses so much original footage, I think that's why they had to make certain decisions like that of, oh, we need them here, oh, use this old thing, and like because later on, spoiler alert, the Zords are used at some point. That footage was American.
The Zord, not the Zord footage.
The Zord fight for this three-parter.
Oh, was it? Was that an American original monster? Okay, I did think.
It was a reused monster. Originally, it was blue, I think, in season 2, and then they repainted it to green for this crossover.
I kind of suspected that, not because of the green paint, but because they used him a lot. Like not just in combat scenes. And he had this weird green video effect that didn't look like any of the other effects, and it looked like the effects that the American team probably would have done.
Yep.
Yeah.
Taking a look at chat.
Yes, sir.
Lockhart Gaming. Oops, my bad. I am 26 years old, so I've been watching for a long time, and the Phantom Ranger did say he was a friend. Okay.
Yeah.
Every Halloween, whenever I was a kid, I would dress up as Rangers. Nice. I was a Ranger a couple times as well.
I didn't dress up as a Ranger until I became an adult.
Hey, it means it comes full circle. You appreciated that much more.
That's true.
Dolly Girl, when you are young, you are not supposed to notice. When I first watched, I had no idea it was a Japanese show.
Same.
Fair.
Same.
Yeah, I didn't even know half of the people who were on it, so there's
that. So then they're teleporting, and I guess Zed and Rita realize, oh, Earth might be not defended. And there's a moment here, I don't know if, I caught it, yeah. Goldar's like, they're talking about this, and Goldar's like, Empress, why don't we attack now while they're not here? And she turns around, she's like, what a great idea. It was like the most sarcastic, and he's like, and I love it because usually they're like giving him crap for like failing or just like no, but like he was like, I've got a great, and I don't know, it was just a dumb moment, but I liked how snarky she was to him.
Yeah, That's why I'm glad with Kimberly being sick that it rolled out that way, because she is good in this episode.
Yeah, I
So,
agree. I agree. And they're
but yeah.
the other thing I wanted to point out is in the background of this scene, look at the putties. They're
Oh
just
yeah.
standing there. You don't normally see deactivated putties just like,
hmm
I imagine they're walking around like and then
The,
it's just like
the
that, like what happened there?
the headcanon I'm building for myself right now is that Finster, because they break apart, can like piece them together.
Oh, so these are ones that he put back together but hasn't activated yet or something?
That's what I'm going with for my
Okay.
headcanon.
Well, that works. Or maybe because they're not alive like other monsters. They're like in my mind anyway. That when they're not being used, they just literally are off. Like they don't exist until they have a purpose.
Yeah.
Hello, Kyle
Uh,
Goldfinch. Welcome to the stream. Welcome to the Power Rangers chatting with Action Activate. We are going over the three-parter, A Friend in Need, right now. Normally we go over the current Beast Morphers. Sometimes we have interviews like last week, but this is what we're doing today. So they're excited the Power Rangers aren't going to be there. She goes and talks to Finster, says, get that monster going. We need it right away. Repaint it from the Japanese suit, make it green.
hmm
And then we see some more smears. This time the smears of paint are going towards the
Oh,
apricot seed.
one thing you made me notice
Yes.
is you can kind of tell that they're reusing old Zoo Ranger footage, because they made sure Rita was facing the other way, so you didn't see that it was the other original actress versus this, and it's a little bit grainier.
That's a good theory. I don't know if it's true because she might have been facing him, and I just grabbed a screen cap where she wasn't.
Well, even so, they probably edited it accordingly, because you could see one of the clay things is Pudgy Pig right there.
Right. Yeah, it's an interesting theory. I'm not saying you're wrong, but I don't know how to confirm it. Real Baboo says, I'd love to confirm either of your theories, but I got nothing. And then Kyle Goldfinch, well, thanks, guys. It's been good to be back after a long break. We'll see you at Beast Morphers Episode 9. I will see Beast Morphers I will see Beast Morphers Episode 9 was good. No spoilers. Oh, so okay. Real
Gotcha.
quick, Episode 9 was leaked. It's not been officially released, but I guess somebody in Australia saw it and leaked it. We haven't watched it. We're not going to review it till it's actually officially released. So if you've seen it, awesome, enjoy. No spoilers, appreciate that. But yeah, we're going to wait.
Yep.
So they're getting to Edenoi now, and then now it actually looks like they're on Edenoi.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I also think it's smart because I'm wondering if some of the Masked Rider Kamen Rider some of the Masked Rider footage I think did come from Kamen Rider, and I'm wondering if that either didn't match and so they put a red filter over everything, or it already had a red filter and they put it. But it's in these scenes on the planet. Any Sentai footage they use is some of the most seamless they've ever used. Because well, say Sentai, but Japanese. And I think a big part of that is because of the atmospheric stuff they're doing. So whatever difference in film quality, you notice it on the enemy ship a little bit because it's different. But anything on the planet, if there is Japanese footage, I didn't notice it.
It's transitioned well, yeah.
Yeah. And then back to the ship, they land and immediately start getting shot by the ship, which makes perfect sense. So I love that.
Yep.
And then, this I don't know. I just took a shot at the helmet for some reason. Oh, because she noticed that. Oh, look, there's people over there. And then he's like, "What?"
Yeah.
And they're just getting blasted. And again, it made me feel like this is a war zone. They're not at a place where there's a bad guy over there like doing one thing. Like the whole planet is a war zone. Like you're not safe anywhere. Friend, foe, whatever. There's a lot of chaos. And so then they're walking over. I think I skipped ahead. At this point, they see these guys. They get away from the blast to the rocky outcropping, and they're like, "Look, what are those guys doing?" Now, look at this image. Sometimes I take screenshots as I'm watching, and sometimes I take extra by mistake and erase them and stuff. And I accidentally took two screenshots of the same thing here. So here's, they all have gas masks on, and they're digging, they're mining, they're being forced to mine. And here's the other one I took by accident. Notice anything different? Like everything? They're wearing different outfits. They have antennas. Like what? They're completely different people, costumes. And this is not like 5 minutes later. They're like, look at those people, and they go, yeah. And when they look back, completely different people.
You remember that thing that you said where possibly Japanese footage seamlessly?
Yeah.
I think this is going against everything you're saying.
Well, I wouldn't have noticed it if I wasn't taking screenshots, though, because it was so quick.
Yeah.
But I will say this. If one of these is American, one's Japanese, the characters are different, but it looks the same. The film quality, the color, it matches. If they said, oh, this is another part of the camp, or they looked over, then it would have been okay.
Yeah.
But and maybe that's what it was supposed to be, but it really just looked like when they looked back, it was different people, and I thought that was really funny.
I'm assuming the second one is Japanese.
I would agree.
If they're both different, yeah.
I would agree. Let's see. So then there's a shot of them seeing it. And then we'll check chat real quick before we get into what's happening next. No spoilers. I feel like this is Kyle again. I feel like I have to say Channel 9 is a national broadcaster. I personally don't think it's leaked because Hasbro gave them the right to play it because episode 10 is actually screening this weekend again. Terrible international. Well, yeah. When I say leaked, where I have seen it hasn't been on any official site, not even Hasbro or Nickelodeon or even that. What I've seen is on fan Facebook pages or elsewhere. Yeah. There is like a sideways video where you can see somebody's phone or, so somebody recorded it and then put it up on the internet when they weren't supposed to. But in America, we aren't supposed to be seeing it. Now, do I agree that we should have to wait? No, I think it's silly the way they distribute it, but it isn't the official, and we're trying to keep it official is all I'm saying. And, if you want to watch it, I'm not saying don't, but we're not going to address it till it actually is released. That's all I'm saying.
Yep.
Okay, so they're looking, and I love this because you hear "Ee-ah!" and you see somebody fly over. They hear "Ja-ja!" and more people flying, and it's exactly the way the Power Rangers jump into battle.
Yep.
But when they land, they're just like, "Hey, we're some idiots in cloaks that don't look very cool or threatening at all."
Yeah, with weird gas masks.
But it establishes them as like, because in your mind you're like, well, this is how powerful heroes arrive. So it makes them seem threatening even though they don't look very impressive.
Yeah. The thing that bothered me about this episode was most of this fight.
Okay. All right. Well, here's Tommy. It's not good. Tommy's like, hey, we're not here to fight. Good move. That's what you should say. You're not really doing anything wrong. And then the one guy puts his hand up, and I don't remember his whole chant, but it's something like, for the light of my father, I am going to do the Ito, and I am a good man, and you don't know what I can do, and I'm drinking.
The light in the darkness.
Yeah, I've been drinking milk, and these days it's giving my bones what it
hope enemy to you.
Yeah. Does he say that, or are you quoting Goku?
No, that was Goku. Allied to good. That's
Allied to good, yeah. But then he's like ectomorphic change. Now I forget his call out.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very convoluted and complicated, and he has a lot of movements, and then his belt fires up, and then he becomes Masked Rider. And I do think Masked Rider looks cool. I think this is a really cool suit, even amongst other suits I've seen. I think this one's really slick.
Yeah, that one's cool. The thing that bothered me before he changed is the Power Rangers were 100% reasonable.
Yes.
And he is a total doofus.
Yes, I agree. And it gets worse. See, at this point, it didn't bother me too much because he's in a war zone, and they're like, we're not your enemy. And he's like, I don't know that. I'm going to transform. That up to that point is fine, but it continues, and he seems to be dumber and dumber as it goes on.
And the other thing I don't understand is, and I've tried to rationalize this in my head. So as you continue with the screenshots, it'll show more of the fighting, which is what I'm talking about.
Right.
And the Rangers fight, and it's clear that they don't want to fight these guys, which is totally fair, which is why it's not very, I don't want to say
dynamic.
Engaging.
Oh, wait, hold on. Before you get into the fight, I put on closed captions for a minute. I forget why, but because I wanted to hear what he said, like in his little like endomorphic change or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, but then I had to back up because they're still saying like, no, just listen to us. This is, and he literally says, and I put it on the screen so we see. He says, "Silence! Words have no meaning." And second part, on a planet under the Cape of War. What does that mean? First of all, silence, words have no meaning is one of the dumbest things. Like that's something like a dumb villain would say that does, not the hero that we're supposed to like. And then on a planet under the Cape of War, that might be a saying from the 50s or something, but who has ever said, not on a planet under the fog of war or at war, but on a planet. On a planet. If it was just the city, words might have meaning. But on a planet under the Cape of War, silence, words have no meaning. And his voice is a little not great.
I don't understand how they don't fight with each other, like his own team fighting with each other based on everything he's saying. He's like, I can't trust anybody,
right?
Except for my friends behind us who evenly match your squad of 5. Like, he's such a doofus. The only slightly redeeming quality is that you see him fight both Rocky and Tommy, showing that he's clearly the
strong.
Most powerful out of them.
Right.
But even then, it's like, okay. So with the fight, that's what I was thinking of.
Yeah.
So Rocky seems to be like one of the only people not pulling too many punches, thankfully.
Right.
Like they're fighting, and everybody else is being a little too reasonable, in my opinion. It's like, all right, fine, I'm just gonna fight you. But then it actually shows that Masked Rider is pretty powerful because he's taking on the
Yeah.
two strongest Rangers and still holding his own.
Yeah, I had no issue with him displaying his strength. I totally believed he was a tough guy, but I felt like he was just like, is this the first battle you've ever been in? Do you like how do you like you can't live your life just attacking people even when they're saying they're your friend. And then during the fight, like again, you're right, they do a good job of showing he's powerful. Well, but before we even get there, we cut back to Zed and Rita and Finster. I don't even remember what they're talking about here. Do you?
I think they're actually gonna talk about the monster they're deploying on Earth.
Okay, but cutting back for half a second, and then back to the fight. They're fighting Adam. Oh, I paused this because Aisha's hand is so dirty, and it makes sense. They're on this dirty planet, but usually they try to keep everything nice and perfect and white. But she's like, "Stay back," and I'm like, "Ugh, I will." Gross.
Yeah.
What a gross glove, man.
I just want to see her punch and just clumps of dust.
Yeah, or like a big fist print on someone's face.
Yeah.
So this is the part you were talking about where the two of them are taking on Masked Rider, and he's holding his own. Yeah, that helmet's really cool. If I had time, I was going to do a headshot of that, but I didn't have time.
So cool.
And then while this is going on, we cut back and we see them on a viewing screen, and Lord Draken says, "Oh, who are they fighting? Who are these multicolored buffoons?" And they keep calling them multicolored, like that's the big insult. It's like everything's multicolored. I'm multicolored right now. Like they should be saying like maybe primary colored or brightly colored. I don't know. It seemed like a weird insult.
Yeah, I think because they're using the Japanese footage, it's kind of just mad libbing it.
Yeah.
It's like, what's something dastardly? I don't know. They have colored suits.
Let me check chat real quick. Kyle, of course, I appreciate that about watching episode 9. Yeah, no, totally cool. Locker Gaming, this is a weird episode. Agreed, it is a weird episode because the whole point was to establish Masked Rider as like a cool hero, and you should go watch their show. So yeah. And then what are words right now? Maybe the war made everybody deaf. From Baboo. Maybe the war gave everyone brain injuries from Kyle Goldfins. That could be true, but it's a little less amusing. Actually, they're both kind of not amusing now that I think about it. But yeah, something, I don't know. They seem to fight okay otherwise. It's just the thinking.
One after you read Locker Gaming.
Locker Gaming says, Z-Ranger was awesome, though. I tried to get it into another Japanese episode, but it isn't happening. Yeah, Z-Ranger was great, but this is actually past the Z-Ranger footage. Once you get past season 1, any of the Japanese footage was shot specifically for America and or they're just making stuff up on their own. I have not watched a ton of Sentai. I've watched a chunk of Die Ranger, which was the next one after Z-Ranger, which I think is very good. I recommend it. If you're looking for something from this era, if you're looking for a newer one, I really liked Tokyuja myself.
Or if you want to go totally parody-based, just watch Akiba Ranger.
Agreed. I love that show.
Yeah.
But it's
I think because they're mining poisonous gas, they just are smoking too many fumes.
Those gas masks do nothing, you're saying?
Yes. What you saw, they had just gas masks that weren't on properly and weird like tendrils, and then just no shirts.
Yeah, that's true. It's so
mining.
They're like, I could breathe fine. It's soaking into my skin, but then whatever.
Yeah, just in my pores, exfoliating.
So during this fight, I remembered, I don't have a shot of it, but I think Aisha or one of the other Rangers is like, "What are you doing? Alpha sent us." And they're like, Alpha? But they keep fighting. And then someone else is like, "We were sent here to help you." And they're like, "Were you?" So like they each keep trying to say things to the other members of his crew, and he doesn't care until the ship fires down on both of them. And the head villain's like, "Let's kill them all," which goes back to your point of if they could destroy planets. We haven't seen that yet, so I'm not sure if you're right. But why did they not do it? But they just do another barrage. Luckily, they're not very good shots. Yeah. And it's only at that point that Masked Rider says, "Oh, wait. Even he's not evil enough to shoot on his own people. I guess they're good guys." And it's like, that's the thing? Like, that could have been a mistake. They could still be evil. You know what I mean? Like,
the thing that they did poorly in this, since it's the first of 3 parts, is right away when you meet the hero you're trying to promote, he is the dumbest character on screen.
Yes, yeah. And they could have easily fixed that by if there was like a spell on him or on the Rangers or an illusion. Anything. They could have given it, but he basically was just like, "I don't know who you are. You're my enemy. No matter what you say." Like, yeah, it was silly.
One common problem in Power Rangers overall, too, when they get into scenes like this is they leave out very crucial information when they try to explain themselves. Instead of just like everything out, like, "Oh, we're out here to help you. Alpha 5, Zordon. Do you guys recognize any of these people?" what do we have to say for you to not find us? Like, I thought of the movie, actually, when they meet Dulcia, and, like, she's going to whoop on him. And then they're like, whoa, Zordon said to Zordon of Eltar? It's like, yeah.
Right.
So, that kind of thing.
But the
I
movie
think,
moved a lot quicker pace than this did.
oh, yeah, this was sluggish, and everybody got kicked in the gut 4 times before it was like, hang on, guys. I think we should hear him out. By the way, words still have no meaning in a
planet. Wait, words have no meaning on a
war.
planet caped by war. I want to get a shirt of that. I want to say words have no meaning on a planet caped by war. Action
and then
activate.
Just a big comment.
Yeah.
Okay. What I will say. Let's commit to this right now.
Yeah.
If we get people in the Facebook group to over 1,000 members, we will design that shirt.
Okay, I'll commit to that.
All right.
Yeah, I will commit to that.
Because I really want that now. So
I will
please,
commit.
Don't tell your friends to join.
I will commit to that. Yeah. Actually, I'll put up the Facebook info here, and then there's the YouTube one. If we get 1,000 members to the Facebook group, not only will we make those shirts, but we'll make one for each of us and one extra, and then we'll randomly give it to somebody in the group.
Yep.
Okay, that's it. It might be a while, but if you get us to 1,000, somebody's getting a shirt. And
I really hope just down the line, however long it takes, somebody goes, "Hey, remember when you guys did that 3-parter of Frozen Moon? You got up that giveaway?" It's like somebody knows.
Yeah.
Remember this timestamp, whatever time it is on the YouTube video. Somebody bring it up in the comments in the future.
Kyle Goldfinch, he said this a little bit back, but he said they clearly need the apparatus from Lightspeed Rescue.
Oh, true.
Yeah. Dolly Girl, that's great. So he finally, and I also love that he's like, "Whoa, everybody stop fighting," as though he's the level-headed one when they were like already, but then they immediately get bombarded again. So and I do like how much bombardment there was. It's ridiculous that they miss every time. But if you're an enemy, you just keep shooting. You don't just stop so everyone could talk.
Yeah, just boop, 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 boop,
yeah.
With your cannon.
And so they run into the cave, and that's to be continued. So that's end of part 1. Now I'm looking at our time. We've been going for about 45, 50 minutes.
The same thing.
We could either speed up or we could say that this is going to be a 2-parter for us.
I will leave that up to the chat.
Okay.
If you would like this to be sped up, please say speed it up.
Yeah.
If you would like to have this a little more broken down to part 2, please say slow your roll or hold your horses. Something along those lines.
Right. We're going to keep going for now, but if we're not, we're only 1/3 of the way through the material. So it's to be continued, and I was going to stop here, but then in the credits, Tommy showed up, and I totally forgot it because I've been watching it on Netflix, and I usually binge, and I just go right ahead. And this is when he was the White Ranger, but he's wearing his Green Ranger stuff.
I was going to say this is old footage because he had – all right, one shot me, please.
Okay, here we go. What is this? This is the Bigdawg Knowledge Zone.
Knowledge Zone right now. So in the 90s, Jason David Frank had a promotional video that tied in Power Rangers where he actually had, I think, 2 or 3 of them. But he had one where he was the Green Ranger teaching martial arts and kind of the do's and don'ts and kind of the core spirit behind martial arts. So this, I believe, is taken from that. And then at the very end, he does his Green Ranger kata that he made up and is pretty cool, actually. Even looking now, he has really strong kicks. But they, for some reason, sprinkled it at the end of these episodes. But the only unfortunate part is it doesn't make sense because he's now been the White Ranger for a while in terms of like when they shot it and when they distributed it. And then going into Zeo, he actually is another one where he does a Red Ranger kata when he's in Zeo. So there's at least one, possibly 2 or 3, but they're actually kind of cool if you could dig them up somewhere.
It is weird too that they showed it, but they didn't say video available at your local store. Like it was not even a commercial really. And usually they put bloopers and stuff at the end. So were they just out of them, or because it didn't? If I was a kid watching this, I wouldn't think, oh, I should go ask my mom to buy that. I would not know. I would think it was from some episode I didn't see or something.
I remember it from either commercials during the show or like buying the compilation videos and it being on there. But I remember seeing them as a kid. But use your mind is what.
Your mind is your strongest weapon. Very good. You know.
Something gave it away.
Kyle Goldfinch enjoys my hair, so thank you for that. And wish they saw Brad Hawkins as the White Ranger. I thought Brad Hawkins was going to be the Gold Ranger. I know they did the voice. Oh, because of Cyberforce. Cybertron. Okay, go give us. Hey, Knowledge Zone Part 2, Big Dawg Defender.
Boom! Same episode already.
Pow!
Jason David Frank was in a pilot for a show called Cybertron. What it later turned into was VR Troopers. Originally, it was just him as the lead VR Trooper. I forget the name of him for Metal Heroes in the Tokusatsu show, but he was a martial artist. His dad disappeared. He had to get revenge, yada, yada, yada. Turned into this hero called Cybertron, which is all not confusing with the planet that all of the Transformers from 10 years prior from, but whatever. We'll digress.
Not even 10 years at that point.
Yeah, so he was the lead character in this pilot, and later on, it ended up switching where Brad Hawkins, who originally was going to come in as the White Ranger on Power Rangers, instead got the lead in VR Troopers for the same suit and roughly the same character. They did tweak it a little bit, but it ended up working out that way. And then because they liked him in VR Troopers, he was then brought in as the voice of the Gold Ranger when he wasn't Jason in Power Rangers Zeo.
That's very well said. I do actually remember that now because I actually have watched the pilot. You could find it online. Again, we like to say
not great.
No, but if you are just interested, and again, we like to encourage people to use official sources, but there isn't one for this, so you can look on YouTube or whatever, and you could find the whole episode kind of low resolution, and it's weird. It's interesting, but it's like an artifact.
So goofy.
And we wouldn't have had the VR Troopers we had Brad Hawkins become the White Ranger. We would have had a totally different thing.
True.
Would have been better, worse, who knows? But it is. I did hear though, and maybe Bigdawg, you can correct me. When he came in as the voice of the Gold Ranger, I thought that there was a chance he was going to actually be the Gold Ranger reveal before they brought back Austin St. John. Was that never a possibility?
I could honestly see that either way. I'm not 100% sure. All I know is, even as a kid, I remember Trey had a very soft, distinct voice. And then when he was morphed up, Brad Hawkins was like a lot edgier. And
I got Pyramidas!
my Charizard! Pyramidas! But touching back one last point on Cybertron, actually.
Yeah.
The pilot is hit or miss for you. But the one thing I will say is, regardless of what role he is in, Jason David Frank puts everything into his battle cries and his key ops.
Yes.
Cybertron! That part alone was like, all right.
He doesn't hold back. He gives it his all every single time. You're right.
Yeah.
Real Baboo said there is no way they were out of bloopers. And that makes sense. Yeah. And so it had to. Well, yeah. Who knows? Maybe it was some sort of contractual thing, or Jason David Frank's like, show my thing. But again.
Maybe season 3, because this is the first episode of season 3. So maybe they were just trying something different.
And they hadn't yet realized, because in the second episode we see more Jason David Frank. In the third episode it's Bulk and Skull, and it's not even a blooper; it's more like an extended take.
Yeah.
But so we're starting episode 2. They just got into the cave after the shelling. I said I didn't really get bored much. This is the one part where I did get a little bored.
Oh, it was awful.
Here's another shot of that crazy ship.
Yeah.
And then they go in. Yeah, I don't know why I took so many screenshots of this. And then they all take off their masks, and there's a weird. What does he say here? He's like, "My name is Dex. I'm the prince."
It is Dex, yeah.
It is Dex?
I believe so. Now that I'm thinking about it.
Because I think you're thinking of your favorite season, Operation Overdrive, and the character Dax on that.
Oh, I knew you were going to bring that up.
I understand why you make that mistake since you love that season so much.
Two of my favorite actors that were on characters that were on Power Rangers. I'm sure the actor is a nice person.
Right. It's important to make a distinction. So he's like, here's who I am. And then he's kind of weirdly like, who are you? And the Rangers, who normally have to be so careful with their identities, they're like, oh, we'll take our helmets off. Sure. And
who are you going to tell? You're on a different planet.
I know, but it's also, I chalk it up to like alien culture or whatever, but it is weird that he's like, I'm deciding to tell you who I am. Now you have to tell me who you are. It's like, I didn't ask. I didn't enter some kind of secret pact with you. Like, that's just a little presumptuous. It's like, oh, by the way, here's a present. Where's mine? Like, what? Well, I didn't even know we were doing this. Like,
it is funny though when you see him take it off that they still have the little turtleneck things.
Oh yeah, I do like that look. I actually was thinking with the new figures, as much as I like everything, I wish there was a little collar you could put on just to make them look a little more accurate like the show. Kind of like with Doggy Kruger has that. Yeah.
I know. I was going to say the same thing, and I did.
Let's see. Kyle says, I feel like there was so much burnout from the writer's room. Yeah, I'm sure. Wait, Bigdawg likes Operation Overdrive. Yeah, he loves it. Yeah, see, Arzuki knows. Bigdawg loves Operation more than a dog likes chasing their tail. Yeah, I mean, it's just one of the facts we know. It's just one of the facts we know.
You guys haven't met a lot of dogs, apparently. Because that is anything from True. One thing that I think may have been a possibility, this is me just conspiring again,
Okay.
is maybe the writers of Masked Rider were told, hey, you're going to write the backdoor pilot on Power Rangers. And they're like, okay. And then the reason we didn't get Masked Rider Season 2 is just this.
What do you,
Because
wait,
the writing
elaborate
isn't
on
great.
that. Oh, thank you for the bits, Airzuki. The cheers.
Because obviously, thank you. Obviously, we all like Power Rangers,
Right.
but because it was a different show running team and writer's room, maybe them writing these Power Ranger episodes and them not being good is why Masked Rider wasn't good, because they probably just weren't good.
I think these 3 episodes are better than everything I saw from Masked Rider. And again, I haven't watched the whole season. I don't have a real informed opinion, but this writing is way better. I based on this, had I seen this first, because I don't remember seeing this back in the day.
Yeah.
Had I seen this first, I probably would have given Masked Rider a chance, because he looks.
I did. It was boring.
No. But what I'm saying is, this is promising a different show than what actually happened.
Yeah.
To the point, well, we're skipping ahead to the end, but where it ends on this, and where the show starts, the Masked Rider starts, there was definitely some rewriting and some revision there, because it doesn't match up. However bad you think this was, way better than the actual show he was in. But he has a little crystal here, and some people online have talked about how he might be related to what's his name from Time Force. Have you seen that? Like the same race.
Oh, Trip. That's
Trip.
cool.
Yeah, it's not official, but it kind of makes sense. I mean, why not?
Did
but
Trip do that in Time Force? I don't remember.
I thought it was more like an empathy thing, like a mind, like a telepathy, where he could sense things.
Dex in this says that the crystal allows them to like show people their thoughts.
And then he puts a slideshow on from his head.
Yeah.
I don't remember that happening in Time Force, but it's been a little while since I watched Time Force, so I could be forgetting.
It's been longer for me. That's why I was asking you.
He definitely had powers from it, and they were mental, but I didn't remember him projecting. But yeah, it's basically like, okay, we all introduced each other, now watch some home movies. Let me go back to the other one though. I do like the face he makes, like, and he touches it because it's like all a mental thing, but he's like I don't know, it's just weird, and he does it a few times, like as though he's turning something on and off, like.
Yeah.
But
intense face, like Professor Xavier in the old comics, just.
But not even that intense. It's more like, like he's not sure if it's gonna work this time.
The one thing that I'm actually noticing from the screenshot that has nothing to do with the actual plot is
Zipper?
It's funny to have them with their helmets off and seeing how ginormous Aisha's hair is. And
Oh,
to
yeah.
that fitting the helmet, there's no way.
She'd have to like kind of swoop it up and like tuck it in, but
Not even
yeah.
a little bit.
Yeah.
The only way you can explain it is magic.
Yeah, well, and it is magic, so that's fine. But here's the thing: you morph up, it's magic. You take it off. How do you put it back on? Does she like real quick remorph, or is there some sort of magic vacuum where as she puts it on, it just like
I think the vacuum, because they always go like this and then it cuts.
Yeah,
to them, obviously.
true. I also noticed, because again, mostly American footage, that they have like zippers up the back of the suits.
Oh, yeah.
Which I don't think the Sentai ever really did. They were usually just one pieces with no zipper. But I could be wrong. I mean, they must have some kind of zipper. As I say that, I realize it has to have a zipper. But they seemed more noticeable on these suits for some reason.
Maybe because they had. Oh, it could be also where it tore there, and that's what we're seeing on her suit.
Maybe. I mean, it's not important. It wasn't bad or anything, but Locker Gaming, what's your favorite season? Real quick, just seasons. Name 3, just real quick. Not your absolute favorite, just 3 you like, so we can keep moving.
In Space Jungle Fury, Wild Force.
Okay, I'll say Jungle Fury, RPM, and Lightspeed Rescue.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, just off the top of my head. So then he talks about Kamen Rider and how he, I keep saying Kamen Rider, Masked Rider, and how he kind of got the powers and stuff, which is weird because we already knew that and saw it happen. So this is why it got boring, because like, this is stuff we know. This is stuff we've seen happen. I mean, arguably the Rangers didn't know, but whatever.
Oh, okay. So what I would say, easy way to write this in, is assuming kids missed episode 1 and just jump into episode 2, let them know.
Okay, fair enough. Cal Goldfinch, Lightspeed Rescue as well. Actually, if you watch the title credits, there's pictures of us with like Rangers and at conventions and stuff, and there's a picture of me with Sean. Oh my God, I'm forgetting. Sean C.W. Carter. Wait.
Carter Grayson.
No, Carter Grayson. Yeah, but the actor that plays Carter Grayson, Sean C.W. whatever his last name is.
don't
I'm
remember his
blanking on
last
it right now. But I had done a piece of art of his character, and he came over and took a picture with me, and that's in the Johnson. Thank you very much. I appreciate that.
Yep. And
So-
I have a picture with Red Fisher, the Titanium Ranger, which is an American exclusive Ranger.
That's
Not
true.
trying to compare. Yours is obviously better because you actually talked to him.
Yeah, did you? Yeah, they're both cool. The difference is you went to Rhett Fisher and Sean came to me.
Hair flip.
All right, so we're definitely. By the way, this is definitely going to be a two-parter. Just
Oh, for sure.
we'll keep going for a little bit, but we're at an hour already, so this is definitely going to be a two-parter. So we go back to the command center, and Alpha says we're getting a call on the viewing globe from Kimberly, which struck me as odd because the communicators are audio only. Now, I understand they could look in her room, which is also kind of an invasion of privacy if she doesn't know, but whatever.
I love it.
But they made it seem like she's calling on a video phone where she just called and they're like, let's look at her sick in bed. It just seemed odd to me because they don't normally do that. When Tommy calls, they're not like, oh, look, Tommy's at school. What's he say? You know, like, let me see. Real Baboo, no love for the original. I'm hurt. Everybody loves the original. We're going over it right now.
It goes with that. And honestly, I still love the original. Don't get me wrong. Those other ones have better stories. No offense.
Wow.
In my opinion.
That is hurtful.
I'm being honest.
I usually leave like the original off the list because it's always going to be everybody's favorite.
It's its own tier.
Yeah, it's kind of like saying who's your favorite Ranger, Tommy. It's like Tommy's everybody's favorite Ranger. You know, it doesn't make it wrong, but it's just not an interesting answer, unfortunately. Dolly Girl, I have a picture with Walter Emmanuel Jones. Nice.
Hi,
White Boy James, welcome to the stream. Hope you like Power Rangers because that's what we're talking about.
Yep.
Baboo gets it. Okay, cool. So she's still sick, and they're like, hey, we know you're sick, but a monster just showed up, and all the Rangers are on another planet, so what are you going to do? And then we come back to the youth center. And finally, after all this time, we finally get to the important stuff. What are Bulk and Skull doing?
Yep.
Oh, thank you very much. I appreciate the follow, White Boy James.
Oh,
yes.
I forgot about this part. This is actually a pretty good Bulk and Skull plan, and
I agree.
I'd like to point out, I love that he brought back the hat from season 1.
I was trying to figure that out. I'm like, I don't remember him wearing that hat in these later seasons.
Oh yeah, season 1 for sure.
This whole outfit.
I
I remember that was like his like go-to outfit in season 1. But I was like, did he keep wearing it longer than I remembered? But his whole outfit is crazy. Like he's got the hat, and then he's got this low-cut shirt with his hairy chest, and then he's got like a tie-dye thing, and like the ponytail coming out the back because he didn't used to have a ponytail.
90s.
Yeah, it's crazy. But what I found more interesting is what Skull is wearing. He's wearing this sort of duster trench coat with these extra little flaps and a headband and stuff. Did that make you think of anything? Another character? Maybe another character we talked about earlier this episode?
Oh, is it like kind of like what Tommy wore?
No, it's kind of like what Jason wore when he came back to be Zeo Gold.
Oh, yeah.
Look at that.
Oh, yeah.
You believe
I
that?
was going to say, I wonder what it looked like. That's funny.
Yeah,
Okay.
I mean, it's not exact, but it's like, it's such a specific weird coat combo. And when I saw it, I was like, that, I don't know. I probably didn't do it on purpose, but that was the first thing I thought of.
That's funny.
Isn't that funny?
Yeah.
Let me check chat real quick. Lucky, I am unfollowed you now. I've never been a Ranger. I've never been to a Ranger meetup. Oh, well, they're getting bigger. They're not just bigger in size, but in scale around the country. There's ones in Georgia and Florida and North Carolina. They're sort of spreading out, so hopefully you'll get a chance eventually. Let's see. Whipper James likes Power Rangers. Nice. Where is Steve Andrino? Steve Andrino right now is in chat, or he's being drawn by me in the past above me, or you could watch a full episode interview with him that is up on the Gazbot YouTube channel from last week. 3 options. Yeah, there's the YouTube link if you need it. And then Arizuki saying hello to the real Baboo. Okay. Oh, and I'll put the Facebook up too if you want to check that out. Okay. So, yeah, 6:05. We'll keep going for a little bit. So they're there doing their antics, and basically they're trying to get with those girls, and those girls like Power Rangers. Oh, actually, I skipped a piece of business that I liked here because I was so excited to get to the outfit. They hear the girls like Power Rangers, so they're like, let's pretend we know who the Power Rangers are. But the way they do it is they're sitting there at the table, and then they go and move their chair and pull the table an inch. And then they wait, and they go and move the chair and pull the table an inch. And they do that like 3 or 4 times until they're right next to the girls. And I don't know. It's just a great little piece of business. I really enjoyed the comedy of that. Like, I don't know. Like, sometimes I like what the physical, like, I like facial comedy more than physical comedy a lot. Like the facial expressions get me. And so Bulk and Skull, while I like the characters, their jokes are sort of hit and miss with me. I might like them. That's
This was
this was one of my favorites. One of my favorites. It was subtle, I think is why I liked it. You know what I mean?
It was just so classic Vulcan Skull.
Yeah.
Like if you were to do a highlight reel, you would show this clip.
Yes. But then we cut away from that action and we get back to. And speaking of comedy bits, we get back to Rita, Zed, and Goldar, and he's thinking. And I had to go back because I was kind of watching it, but not like super close. I'm like, wait, what? They're all doing the same thing, and then he stops, and they all bump into him, and he gets mad. I'm 99% sure this is a Three Stooges gag. I mean, it might not be. They might have. I'm not saying they ripped it off. It might be like an homage, or whatever. But it feels like it turns out like, what do you follow me for? Like I could just see Mo saying that to Larry and Curly, and then he yells at them. And I don't know if I got a screenshot of it. No, I didn't. But he yells at him, and he's like, "What do you follow me for?" And Rita turns around and goes, "Yeah," to Goldar, like she wasn't doing it too, you know. So
it just rolls downhill.
Yeah, but it worked really well. Like it really reminded me of Three Stooges, but it was like two good comedy bits right in a row like that. Let's see, chat real quick. Locker Gaming one day, yeah, hopefully. Real Baboo, I do. He was good to me. Oh yeah, I realized you were talking about what came before. You were good to us too, man. And then White Boy James, I remember
it was the Haim Saban comment.
Oh, I missed that. Where is it?
White Boy James said, "Do you like Haim Saban?" And I believe it's in reference to that.
Okay. I mean, I don't know him as a person, but I enjoy the entertainment he has brought us twice now. You know, whatever you think of the Neo Saban era, he kept Power Rangers alive, and I'm a fan of Samurai and Dino Charge, so.
I'm glad he didn't give up after the failed pilot of Sun Vulcan, or
Agreed.
Was it Sun Vulcan or was it a different one?
Jetman was the one. No, Bioman. Bioman was the one that they actually have like folders for that like it had gotten someone into production. Excuse me. White Boy James says, I remember I watched Power Rangers on Fox 90s when I was a boy. Yeah, that's where most people got it. Yeah. I was more than a boy, but I was there as well.
I was for sure a boy.
All right, so then we cut back to Edenoi, and they're all buddies. And what did they even do here? I took a screenshot because they went back, but I don't. Oh, he was just saying how his parents were gone, and his grandfather's the leader. And Tommy comes over, he's like, "Yeah, buddy," and that was like the whole thing. I was like, "All right."
Yeah, because I think his grandpa's the one that built Alpha 5, right?
Yes, yeah. Alpha considers him a father, and he's the king, because presumably his son or daughter were the leaders, and they're dead now, unfortunately.
Yeah. But back to Bulk and Skull.
Yeah, back to Bulk and Skull. It was a real quick cut. Back to Bulk and Skull. So now they've moved up, and they're like, "Oh, by the way, Bulky, did you know that the Power Rangers? Did you say Power Rangers? You know?" And so of course the girls are listening, and they hear this, and that's the end of that scene. Back to these guys now. They're in the cave, but all the plague patrollers are outside, basically saying, "We know you're in there. Come on out. We're going to destroy you." And they have these new villains with them, which I don't remember the name of. These three little monster guys. They're like Buggle Scuttle. I can't remember.
They're so weird. They reminded me of something when I was watching it, and I can't put my finger on it.
Critters?
No.
Boglins. Boglins? Do you remember Boglins? They were these weird little toys. They might have been before your time. They were like these rubber puppet monsters. Yeah, I don't know. But they are. What I do like though is there's three of them and they all have different faces. Usually they'd be identical, so that was cool.
They're different heights too.
Yeah. And what's weird is clearly they're people in suits sometimes, but later during one of the fights when Masked Rider's fight him, it looks like he's just holding the suits. Like you're just throwing to look really strong or something.
Oh!
Yeah. Cowgirl Finch, isn't it quite funny? The Power Rangers originally was banned from New Zealand and now it's being produced. Yeah, I think it still is banned in New Zealand actually, even though it's produced there.
Oh, I think that is true.
Yeah.
I remember that tidbit, whether it's true or false, I'm not sure, was mentioned at the last Power MorphCon during the Ninja Steel panel.
That sounds right. And I remember seeing something very recently about one of the directors or one of the creatives behind Beast Morphers, not Chip Lynn, but somebody else, saying that they were completely unaware that Power Rangers had an adult fan base and thought it was just for kids. And people were like, how could you not know? And he's like, well, in my defense, they don't show it where I live. So I think, weirdly, it is still banned. Real Baboo thinks these maybe look like Chud, which is a movie. It stands for Cannibalistic Humanoid Underground Dwellers. I know that movie, but I don't remember what they look like. I saw it so long ago. But they look they look like weird things. But I want to cut to this because another subtitle: To the Power.
To the Power.
To the Power. Masked Rider Dex, they're about to go out, and he's like, okay, let's go out there. To the Power. And all the Power Rangers, to the Power! Not once has anyone said that in Power Rangers, to my knowledge, or in these episodes, or in this culture. It wasn't established as something that Dex and the Alienoids, or whatever you call them, say. It wasn't a common Masked Rider thing. It isn't a Power Ranger thing. Like, may the Power protect you, sure. But to the Power, and they all jump in, to the Power. What?
I think the easiest way you could sum up Dex in one phrase is he's trying to be Fetch. For those Mean Girls fans out there.
Okay.
He's trying to make these things
He's trying to make it a thing. Well, then why does Tommy and everyone else jump on board so quick?
Because this is clearly pandering to Masked Rider to make him look better than he is. But as we all know, thanks to Dex's wise words, words have no power here on a planet that is caped by war.
Words have no meaning on a planet that is caped by war.
Hey!
But it doesn't matter because they have no meaning, yeah. Dolly Girl was going back to the monsters. She said gremlins, which I could see a little bit. And she said the cheddar monster. I think she means the cheddar goblin. The cheddar goblin, I think, yes. It very much reminds me of the cheddar goblin.
A little bit.
And Airzuki agrees. Kyle Goldfinch. But, like, what does that even mean? To the Power. Exactly. What does it mean? Like,
Thank you, real Baboo, for getting the reference.
Fetch isn't going to happen. To the Power, it makes me think of math, like exponents, like to the power of 4 or something like that. I don't know. It's generic.
Can that be the new Action Activate like slogan?
To the Power.
Hey, see you guys next time. To the Power.
I'll tell you what. We won't say it on the show, but if you see either of us at a convention and you like we talk and you leave, to the Power. That's how we part with people that watch the show.
I'm totally gonna forget and make someone feel very awkward.
No, because if they say to the Power, that means that they're Masked Rider, and then you're you just do the callback. Whoever does it first, the other one just calls it back. So as long as
Ecto Slime Changeo to the Power.
So they finally come out to fight, and basically they say, okay. Oh, I wanted to point out this guy. He just looks like he has a towel on his face. I don't know what happened here. The other guys look so menacing, and there's like, here's some cotton we have, and bananas. Cotton and bananas for you, buddy.
No words.
Okay.
Just weird banana spikes in a dish towel.
This is an awesome shot. I don't care what you think is going on. Like
is good.
That's like a poster I would have. That's just really cool.
The other thing that I love about it is the way that the light is hitting the Power Rangers helmets just makes Tommy and Rocky look so cool.
Yeah, well, and they're up front because they're like the de facto leaders.
But just that little shimmer, I like it.
No, it's very good. I like it. And this fight I like better than when they were fighting each other. So he goes to fight these little cheddar goblins, and the Rangers are going to take on the plague patrollers. He's like, "You sure you can handle it?" Like, "We got it. You one-man army these three, and we'll go one-on-one with everybody else."
We really need your show to be successful.
Yes.
Please go display your power.
Yeah. Although Tommy does get this crazy, I'm going to kick a guy off a horse moment, which they didn't quite show it connecting, but even now, having seen it as an adult, I was like, wow, what?
That's a great screenshot you got of it,
Thank you. Yeah, I had to go back. Like, I missed it, and I had to go back and get it.
Just like milliseconds. Just like,
yeah. I probably could have done even better, but I had to go on with life. Before I get to this chat, let's see. Baboo, Monty Python and the Holy Grail rechecked. Yeah.
Maybe.
Calgo Finch. I mean, look, clearly production designer was high when they created that monster. Maybe. I mean, any of these theories are better than the actual thing that actually happened, probably.
Maybe what happened is there was just stuff on a table. Somebody glued it, and then it was like, all right, we got to film. It's like, I think this is my mask.
Or it got glued onto the helmet by accident. Like,
yeah, just like, oh, we can't get it off. It's like the Jim Carrey's The Mask. Just like, oh.
I want to tackle this next scene, and then we're going to stop, and we'll do a little bit of news, and then we'll continue next week.
That works for me.
All right, so here's Masked Rider doing the most common Rider thing he could do, which is the Rider Kick.
Oh,
and
so
that's from the Japanese show, and they even call it the Rider Kick. He's like, "Here comes my Rider Kick," and he does the flip, and his feet glow, and he does like a drill right into him and blows up. And that was cool. Having seen, I didn't even say this. I've seen a good chunk of the original Kamen Rider, like the original one from like the 60s or 70s, and a few here and there. And that was like, oh, that was straight out of the original Showa era. Like that's like a Rider Kick.
Rider
Kick, yeah.
Airzuki pointed out in show.
Yes, exactly. Yes. So let's leave it there. We got about half this episode or a whole other episode, so we're gonna make this a two-parter. We'll be back next week to do the rest, but we're not ending the show just yet. Because normally when we do these shows, we're not doing the interviews. We do a little bit of Ranger news, roundup, anything that's going on. But we've decided, I should say, to put it at the end because some people like to go and rewatch these episodes, and the news at the beginning is not going to be interesting in a month, in a year, whatever. So we'll still do it, but we'll put it at the end. Oh, thank you very much. I appreciate that. Oh, who is that?
Yeah, thank you.
Paul and Fugat. Oh, well, thanks. You were lurking. I appreciate a lurk. Thanks for the
Awesome.
follow. I appreciate that. And then Baboo says, I've started a trend of 90-minute shows. Yeah.
You have.
Well, usually an hour is what we shoot for. Going to 90 is okay, but not over 90.
As you can tell, we're not great at not rambling.
Correct.
So it usually just keeps on keeping on.
Correct. So let me close that up. So do you have any Ranger news you want to share, or should I start?
I do.
Okay.
I don't know if it overlaps with yours. Today, I saw an image. I don't know if it was leaked. I don't know if it was official, of a new Power Rangers Beast Morphers toy coming out for either Wave 2 or 3.
I did not see that. Tell me what it is. I will try to find it real quick.
No, don't try to find it.
Oh, it's a spoiler.
So, yes. So
Okay.
Evox has a figure.
Oh.
Which I have seen and can say.
Oh.
going to
The
get-
spoiler is right there. You said enough that it's a spoiler. Okay. There's an Evox figure.
Mhm.
And for some reason we don't want to look at it, which can only mean that it doesn't look like a snake.
Here's what I will say.
Yeah.
No. Here's what I will say. I know obviously Gazbot and I are sensitive to spoilers in different degrees, and obviously the chat as well. But for you, what I will say to give you peace of mind, all I will say is Evox has a figure. I'm not saying it's a humanoid. I'm not saying it's a snake.
Sure.
I'm just saying some representation of Evox will be coming out soon.
And I like that. And we're all going to see it eventually. Unfortunately, the toys often come out. Like we've seen, certain swords and power-up type things that haven't shown up in the show, and they show up in toys, so it's unavoidable.
Yeah.
But I would like an Evox figure of some sort, so yes. Let's go. Let me go back to the main show. So I don't have a picture for that. But is that the only news? I didn't actually see that or know that, so that is interesting to me.
We discussed the San Diego Comic-Con 2-pack already, right?
No, I do have a picture for that. Go ahead and talk about it. I'll pull up the picture.
All right. So for those of you that do or don't know,
There it is.
I love Power Rangers, which is why we're here.
Right.
And my favorite Red Ranger for the longest time was Jason. So I'm pretty sure that someone at Hasbro, this is all sarcasm, by the way, watched Action Activate and went, you know what? Let's make something for the Bigdawg. Let's make something that just appeals to him. Thankfully, other people, but mostly to him, and go, what's better than one Jason? Two Jasons. And what's better than that? Just getting that power cannon. One of them could hold him, both of them will hold him, whatever works. Just throw it out there. And this set looks so awesome. I'm so excited.
I should address that. The image I chose was a nice product shot. It doesn't show that it comes with a power cannon completed, and it comes with alternate heads unmasked. That likely, we don't know this, but will probably be different than the other ones. Well, I'm making that up. We don't know. But they both come with unmasked heads and the power cannon in addition to these two figures, which have not been released yet. Now, it's likely they'll get a release somewhere outside of San Diego, but who knows what differences there'll be. Sometimes it's just the box. Sometimes it's an accessory. You never know. So if you really want them, you've got to try to get the San Diego one.
I'm going to call shot something for the Red Ranger, which I just thought of.
Okay.
So comes with two Jason heads. One of them is smirking, and one of them is kind of bland face. I think that the bland face
will
is
be
going
the
to
normal.
be released with the normal.
Yes,
and
agreed.
I think that we're also going to get a Rocky head.
I would like that very much. I would like that if they did that with all of them, actually. The question is, and we've talked about this, would they release it both heads with one figure, or would they make us buy two different figures? I think in the case of a Red Ranger, you could have a Dragon Shield one with like the Jason head, and then a non-Dragon Shield with the Rocky head. That's fine. And you could do that with, Bigdawg, did you freeze? Can the chat still see me? Yes. Okay. I think Evox got Bigdawg. He was doing so well this time. I don't know what happened. I'll give a little refresh. Maybe it's on my end. Sorry. I'm joining in. Do we have Bigdawg? Do we have Bigdawg? Well, hopefully he rejoins. I will just keep talking. Okay, thank you for letting me know, guys. Actually, I'll check chat because I've missed some chat. So, Trent, Airzuki said she had a snack so she could wait for dinner. Airzuki is my tech advisor who lives with me, and I'm married too. Baboo, yes, you are very good at rambling. And if you remember on your show, we said, hey, we'll probably have to do this again as well. So proof. And then Kyle Goldfinch following. Thank you for the follow. I guess you unfollowed and then refollowed. Well, regardless, you're following now, so thank you for that. Kyle Goldfinch, maybe one of them is Rocky. Yeah, that's exactly. There you go. Chat say amen to gas. Thank you very much. Yeah, I don't know what's going on with Bigdawg. All right, well, I'll go into a little bit. Let me see what else I got for news. So, we talked about episode 9. I'll bring it up again. Episode 9 has not aired. Right now, we don't have an official return date for Beast Morphers. Originally, they had said end of summer, early fall. The August was thrown around, September was thrown around, even October was thrown around. More recently, people are saying it'll be back in July, beginning of July. This is on the IMDb page, for example, but that's not 100% official. So we might be getting them back sooner, but we don't know for sure. And then let's see. Wait, what's that? Spoiler alert: Bigdawg is the body that Evox takes. Nice. Oh, we might be getting him back. Oh, he left the call. I could see him. You could see in the box he's joining and rejoining. I'll go to a one shot so we don't have to look at that. Looking at my notes. Oh, so it's not officially announced when it's coming back, but in Australia, apparently, from what people are saying, they have already aired episode 9, and next week will be episode 10. And because of this, there have been unofficial releases in America. There's an official release in another country, but people have filmed it on their phone or saved the file, and they're putting it up on like various Facebook groups and stuff. So if you're impatient, you can go watch it. Here we try to wait until it's official because we like to support the show by watching it. They get revenue, they get clicks that people are watching it, they get more money to make more shows to keep making them. So we try to keep it official that way so that we'll keep getting more product and more content, and we support the artists that are making the thing we want to see. But no judgment if you guys want to go try it. I would just say make sure you then watch it on Nickelodeon again when it comes out. That being said, we won't review it until it actually comes out officially, which at the earliest will be July. Excuse me. Okay, so we talked about the San Diego exclusive. Talked about the bootleg. Oh, Red Fox. Last week we talked about the cruise winner. We had another contest. Before we had Steve on talking about his experiences as an actor being Baboo, among other things, we had Matt Palmer, who is one of the creators of the Immortal Red Fox, which is an American manga and a new tokusatsu that is on YouTube. And this was a prize giveaway, and we have a winner, which, oh man, I didn't write her name down. Well, we have a winner. And it was one of our YouTube viewers had made a comment on that video. It was a woman. I could look it up if Bigdawg. See, this is why Bigdawg's good. Because if he was here, I'd go, Bigdawg, talk for a minute, and I'd look it up. But the point is, we have a winner. No more entries, please. And I will send that out to her. And if you are watching and you're not sure if it's you, ask me. But if you are a woman who made a comment on the YouTube video, then it's probably you. All right. So anything else? I don't see anything else here that I was going to go over. I don't know if Bigdawg had anything else. Let's see. This weekend, Kyle Goldfinch. This weekend, episode 10, Sunday afternoon at 5. Yeah. So, but not here in America. So unfortunate for us here, good for people who live elsewhere. I'm going to give Bigdawg, let me see, is he still there? He left the call. Call's still running, but he's not there. So I'm going to go ahead and get ready to go. I'm going to say thank you to everybody that watched live. We had a great chat this time. We always have a great chat, but it was a little bit, people had a lot to say. We got some new people. We got some new followers. I always love that. Thank you so much. And as always, you can check out the Facebook group where we post information about the show, but other Power Ranger stuff occasionally. I'll put that up. And then tomorrow sometime, we put up a rebroadcast of the episode that will be on YouTube in perpetuity. There's the YouTube. So feel free to join either of those, both those. And if you're watching on YouTube later, thank you very much. Give us a like, a subscribe, a comment, whatever. We always like to know people are watching. And the more input we get, kind of like with the shirt, we get 1,000 people to follow our Facebook group. We'll make shirts. One person gets one for free. You know, we get more subscribers on YouTube. We get more followers on Twitch. It incentivizes us to spend more time, money, effort to do a better show, to bring in things, you know, like having guests on and things like that. You know, we have to figure out the technology for that. And we are more than willing to put that effort in if you guys show that you're interested. Either way, we'll keep doing the show every week. Mondays here on Twitch and then Tuesdays on YouTube. Thanks again, everybody, for watching. I'm going to go to the end credits. And right now, it's time to deactivate.